Chapter 31 Blood Bank. Once the class had ended, Quinn had to give back the gauntlets and leave them in the weapons hall. After all, they didn't belong to him and was only there for the purpose of him getting used to using a weapon. Once Quinn went on his first portal outing, then he would be able to hunt for a suitable beast to make a weapon of his own. At that time, he would also be allowed to borrow the equipment. As Quinn was heading back to his dorm room, he decided to first put his stat point into something. So he opened up his status screen to see if there were any changes. HP 20 out of 20, Strength 12, Agility 12, Stamina 12, all stats are currently high-leveled due to being hit by the direct sunlight. The system seemed to be consistent with the last time he had leveled up. Although there was no evolution process this time, he still gained 5 points of HP and 1 stat point. There was one thing that bothered Quinn, and it was the fact that his stat points were high-leveled in sunlight. There would come a time where Quinn would need to be at full strength even in the sun. When reading about vampires in novels, he was thankful that he was able to be in the sun at all, as some of them burned to a crisp in an instant. Quinn decided to stick with his plan and add the stat point to agility. As long as he could hit his opponents without being hit back, he couldn't see himself losing. In worst case, if he couldn't hurt his opponent, he could always run away. It was also handy if he planned to use the clawed gauntlets as his choice of weapon. He would need to be fast to get in close and use hand-to-hand combat skills. Agility 13. The next thing Quinn wanted to check out was the new skill he had obtained from leveling up. Skill: Blood Bank Level 1. The skill, Blood Bank, will allow you to store up to 100 milliliters of blood in your reserve. The blood bank will automatically be used to heal the user if HP drops below 5. Every 10 milliliters of blood will be used to restore 5 HP of the user. User may also use the blood bank to consume blood at any time for his own personal pleasure. Quinn looked at the skill in disbelief. It seemed like the skill was too good to be true. Essentially, the blood bank acted as a second life for Quinn. As long as his blood bank was fully stocked up, Quinn was able to restore up to 50 points of HP. Not only that, but it had also so-leveled Quinn's storage problem. Although Quinn had used test tube and cork to stop the blood from oxidizing, it still wouldn't delay the process of it being spoilt for long. At most, Quinn would be able to keep the blood fresh for 8 hours without keeping in some special type of storage. Sure, he had Layla he could rely on, but Layla wouldn't always be by his side. Quinn then took out the test tube of Layla's blood and used his inspect skill. It seemed like the blood was still fine to be used for now. Skill: Blood Bank. The blood then started to shine bright in Quinn's hand and suddenly vanished from the test tube. Blood Bank 10 out of 100. Your hunger grows. Quinn has happy that the blood bank skill was convenient, and finally, after waiting for a while, he had received a message he had seen once before. Last time he had seen the message about his hunger, the next day the system told him he needed to consume blood, otherwise his HP would drop. With his blood bank skill though, he wouldn't have to worry about it as long as he kept it topped up. After checking out all the information, Quinn had finally arrived back at his dorm room to see Peter and Vorden a little roughed up. "Wow, what happened to you two?" Quinn asked. "Was it the second years again?" No need to worry, this was just during our combat classes. The teacher made us do a sparring session on our first day." "Were there any problems?" "Not really. I was humiliated and lost my fight. Of course, I still can't control my ability well enough. I think I was too nervous. When I brought out the stick of mud on my back, the other students started laughing and I got distracted." Peter explained. But Vorden, on the other hand, was so cool. He told those kids to shut up and asked them to fight him next. Then, with the same ability as mine, he managed to defeat a level 3 user. "Oh, shut up," Vorden said as he punched Peter on the shoulder. "You're embarrassing me." "But it's true. You were so cool back then." The three of them continued to share stories about what had happened in their combat classes. Quinn had even talked about his victory against Brandon. At first, They were surprised, but when Quinn explained that the use of abilities was banned, they understood. The three of them were exhausted from their first day of combat classes and decided to get some rest. The next day when Quinn woke up, he was greeted with another message. Daily quest complete, 5 EXP has been rewarded. 25 out of 400 EXP. Your hunger grows. Your HP will now drop by -1 HP every hour until human blood has been consumed. The message had appeared roughly 2 days after he had last consumed blood. Meaning this was the time frame before he would need to consume blood again. Skill Blood Bank. 10 milliliters of blood will be consumed. Would you like to proceed? Yes. After selecting the yes option, a sweet fragrance entered his mouth. The hole he could feel in his stomach had disappeared, and once again he was satisfied and back to normal. Now all he needed to do was meet up with Layla and fill up his blood bank to the max. For the next week, combat class was a normal requirement for students. This would be the case until the teachers were satisfied to take the students on their first outing through the portals to hunt beasts. After the students picked their weapons from the wall, once again Leo stood at the front to give the students further instructions. Today's lesson will be sparring once again, but this time you will pick your own opponents. You will fight with them for a minute each before switching to the next opponent. On the battlefield, there will be all types of different opponents that use different weapons and abilities. It is important for you to get used to as many of these as possible. The students then immediately got into pairings, and Layla had run up to Quinn as soon as possible. "Don't worry, Quinn, I'll let you win the first one," she said with a wink. But just then, Leo had walked towards the two of them. "I'm sorry about this, young lady, but I'm going to have to ask you to sit out of this one," Leo said. Layla then took a step back. Leo then pulled out his katana blade and pointed it at Quinn. "Show me what you got, boy, and don't hold back."